Welcome to the Marketing with Cultura podcast, designed for Latinas, Latinx professionals breaking into marketing. This podcast helps you find mentors, build community, and create a roadmap to launch your marketing career or business. Hear inspiring stories from successful Latinx marketers and gain insider tips to land your dream job or grow your brand. Hola, I am your host, Vanessa Parra, a Latina marketer with over a decade of experience in sales, marketing, job development, and working with influencers. As a former recruiter and hiring marketing manager, I'll share exactly what businesses look for in their next marketing hire. If you are not new to my podcast and have been enjoying my episodes, if you need mentorship with your resume, LinkedIn profile, portfolio, or just a clear strategy on how to land that marketing job, I invite you to go to the show notes and schedule a free 15-minute coaching session so you can get a better understanding of the skill sets that you need or some tips to help you land that next or first marketing job. Well, welcome to this episode, and today I will be going over 10 must-have skills for new marketers, part 2. If you are new, make sure, or you haven't had a chance, make sure to listen to the previous episode, part 1, episode 77, for you to really understand and know what 10 must-have skills you need to land that marketing job. I had mentioned in the previous episode that it would have been too long if I tried recording all 10 skill sets in one episode. So I broke it up into 2 parts. So again, make sure to go back and listen to the first 5. Today, I will be going over 5 additional key skills to focus on to ensure that you land that marketing job. Skill number 6 is customer-centric focus. So a common mistake that I've noticed that a lot of new marketers or even businesses that maybe don't have someone to help them with marketing but are taking on marketing responsibilities is that they create content or create marketing collateral that just comes off too salesy or promotes themselves, when in fact you're supposed to be creating content, social media marketing strategies, marketing campaigns that are more customer-centric focus. So that's why it's very important to really understand your ideal client, their buyer persona, their customer behaviors. And to do so, you might have to do a lot of research. Maybe you have to research similar brands that cater to similar audiences that you're trying to reach to have a better understanding of what's working and what's not. But even then, it might take you a while to really figure out what your customer values, what they need from you, from your products or services. So that's why it's very important that at the beginning stages of your marketing career, that when you're working with beta clients or when you first get hired on, or if you decide to be a freelancer or have your own agency, that you really analyze different types of customers, different types of audiences, and really understand what that customer needs and wants so you know how to promote and market to them. An example would be in one of my roles. I was the social media and digital marketing manager for a theme park, and our customer base or targeted audience were millennials. So it wouldn't make sense to create content that was focused on Gen Z or boomers, even though I know a lot of people think Gen Z and millennials are close in age, which they kind of are, but they're very different. Gen Zs are most likely younger, right, in their early 20s, and they most likely don't have kids. They might have kids, but they really don't have kids, and it's just a whole different vibe, and they care about different things. Most millennials, not all millennials, but our parents, and the ones that we were trying to target were parents, specifically from Silicon Valley, that would drive to Gilroy and bring their kids that ranged in ages of 5 years old to 12 years old. Like, that was our primary audience. Obviously, even though our ideal client were toddlers or young kids, we're not going to be targeting them because most likely they don't have phones or they're not really watching TV unless their parents are allowing them to. The people that we needed to target were parents and millennial parents. And it's very important that we knew that. And we did a lot of research, not just internally, but we worked with like an outside company that's what they focused on. That was their expertise. And they did a lot of research on our behalf. And that helped us really identify like who our ideal client was, what they cared about, and ensuring that our marketing initiatives showcase that. And so that's why I mentioned it's very important to really understand what your customer cares about so your marketing campaigns can reflect that. Now, skill set number 7 is being creative and innovative. So trying to brainstorm original ideas for campaigns and branding. Yes, I know a lot of us, especially in social media, love to see what's trending and then doing a spin on it so it applies to your audience, to your industry. But sometimes just thinking outside of the box to solve problems or grab attention in crowded marketplaces can really help you stand out. An example of how that benefited at least my career was when I first landed a marketing job in the hospitality industry. I had no hospitality experience, but I did have marketing and sales experience. And luckily for me, the employer that interviewed me and hired me because I didn't have hospitality experience. And they wanted this person that they were going to bring on to think outside the box, to bring in new ideas. I literally killed it in that role. I was able to come up with ideas that at the time the hospitality industry hadn't really been doing. And I didn't know any better because I wasn't stuck in those paradigms in the way of thinking that someone in hospitality might have been, because again, I was an outsider. And I know a lot of successful marketers or marketing teams are the ones that can apply thinking from other industries or marketing initiatives from completely different industries and bring them into their current industry and just try something different. And so that's why it's very important to think outside the box, see what other industries are doing, and see how you can apply it to your current marketing strategy with your employer. Skill set number 8 is collaboration and teamwork. So this one I think is very important to be successful with any employer or any business. Yes, it's great that you have all this experience or that you're super creative or that you're a content creator, but at the end of the day, if you don't know how to collaborate or work closely with your team or with the company that you work for, then all your campaigns will not be successful, especially if it requires other departments to do their part. So I'll give you an example. I worked at a hotel that was a beachfront resort. We had many departments, from the restaurant to our cafe to our park store to group sales to front desk for the ones dealing with, guest reservations, stuff like that. Like there's just so many departments. And one component of my role was to come up with creative packages so we can get more people to come and stay at our hotel. Well, I did a lot of brainstorming. I saw what people were doing. I researched what was popular in the area, and I came up with a couple of ideas on some packages that would attract customers. But before I fully launched anything, I went and I spoke to the director of operations. I had a meeting with him, and I had a meeting with the park store manager, the cafe manager, and the front desk manager. And we just discussed my ideas, and I asked for input to see what they thought, to see if they had any suggestions, and just to start the conversation going. And once we started doing that, then they started thinking about the logistics side that I, as a marketer, wouldn't know. I don't deal with customers in that way. So they were thinking of foreseeable issues or struggles, and then they would talk about it, and then during the conversation or during the meeting, they would come up with solutions. But at the end of the day, we were all on the same page, and we knew how we had to react in case a challenge or struggle happened. And then I was able to go and pitch my packages to my manager at the time, the general manager and director of sales and marketing. Once I pitched it, and I was able to really explain how I was able to brainstorm, communicate, plan with all the different department heads and how we would resolve possible challenges. I got buy-in from the general manager. He gave me the green light and I was able to implement. And a lot of those campaigns or packages were very successful and did a really great job. Brought in additional sales that we definitely needed at that time. So again, in order to be successful, not only in your role or really bring value or additional sales to the bottom line of a company, you need buy-in from your team. You need to make sure that you understand, or even if you don't understand, again, just work closely with those key people that are going to help you ensure that your campaign is a success. Skill set number 9 is technical proficiency. Having familiarity with marketing automation platforms like Marketo or HubSpot can be helpful, specifically with larger companies, but I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of the companies I worked for were startups or smaller companies that don't have large budgets that can afford those type of platforms. So that's where you have to be creative and take the lead in figuring out processes that can make things more efficient without maybe using these big budget platforms. And a lot of times you can just use Google Suite to manage different things, or I guess I hate to say this, 5 different platforms that are inexpensive. When I know if you were to purchase HubSpot or Marketo, it's like all these different platforms combined in one, like managing your website, your content marketing, email marketing, all in one platform. But realistically, sometimes the companies you work for just don't have the budget. And that's where you're going to have to be really, what they say, grassroots, and figure out ways to do everything that those big platforms can do, but on a much smaller scale, and just do a lot of research. Just keep that in mind. It's also important that you have experience with customer relationship management tools like Salesforce or other CRM tools. This can get a little tricky. I was lucky that prior to me having a career in marketing, I was in sales. Like that was my first job, sales and recruiting, which was a big benefit for me because I had to use CRM tools. I figured how to use them. And now when I go into any marketing campaigns or marketing roles, I have that sales background. So everything I do involves how to bring in more money for the company that I work for. And if you don't have that experience and you're at the beginning stages of your marketing career and you do land a sales job, I know you might be afraid to take a role like that. Believe me, when I first took it, I hated it. I didn't want to take it. I remember when I first was looking for my first big girl job out of college, I was praying and wishing that I didn't get a sales job because I'm an introvert. Hard to believe, but I'm an introvert with extrovert tendencies, and I tend to have roles like in marketing where you have to be an extrovert, ironically. But you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone. If you can get experience in sales and understanding, again, the whole customer sales cycle, stuff like that, you can really succeed in marketing and really stand out. So if you're able to, highly, highly suggest that you get some sales experience. Now, another technical knowledge or skill that you can have is understanding basic HTML and CSS, specifically for email and web campaigns. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know how to code, but if you understand how to build out a website, like using WordPress and then just using like plugins and templates, yes, it might be hard at first, but then you can figure out pretty much how to navigate or use any website. And as a marketer, you do need to have basic experience and knowledge because you're most likely going to be the one responsible for updating photos and assets and copy and sales pages and stuff like that. So if you can get at least some experience, maybe take a certification or a class to learn, that would be amazing. Luckily, the company I work for offer internships and classes in those areas. So if you're in the Monterey County area, Salinas area, and you'd like to learn more about that, let me know and I can direct you to the right person. Now, the last tip or key skill set that you should know is adaptability and continuous learning. So marketing is always changing. Things are always happening. There's always new trends in marketing. So no one can say they're an expert in marketing because that's just not true. I don't consider myself an expert. Yes, I have a lot of experience and knowledge and specifically helping you land those jobs, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm an expert in every area of marketing. Marketing is so broad. And once you start growing in your marketing career, you will realize that a lot of people, once they've been in marketing for a few years, become more specialized in certain areas of marketing, and you'll be able to grow way faster than just being like a generalist and knowing everything. Because at the end of the day, yes, you might know a little bit about everything, but you're not going to be an expert in every area because it's just impossible. Like, that's just too much information and things constantly keep changing. As a marketer, it is your responsibility to continue learning, continue staying up to date on what's happening, the trends, taking certifications, learning about different things like AI-driven tools, influencer marketing, new social media platforms, having your Google alerts on, taking courses, joining industry events, maybe taking certifications and attend conferences. I know when I first started my marketing career journey, I used to love, and I would like to go again, but I'm not going to lie. I checked the pricing and it's kind of expensive now. A social media marketing world. So it's this huge conference that happens every year in San Diego. It's typically like in February or March. I don't know how they determine the days, but it's usually February or March. And it's just this huge event right in like downtown San Diego. I think it's called is it Gaslamp? I don't know. Sorry if that's not what it's called, but it's like right there. And over like 10,000 people show up just for that conference. It's a few days. There's different tiers. If you don't have the budget and you're paying out of pocket, I suggest maybe starting off with the marketer tier. But if your employer is willing to pay for it, and I can do a whole nother podcast episode on how to pitch to your employer to get them to pay for a lot of conferences or courses or certifications. That way you learned the latest trends, but you don't have to pay for it. And you just pitch it in a way where you show that it would benefit them, the company, and why they should invest in your learning. But at the end of the day, it's going to help you in the long run. So definitely do that. I know eventually my employer would pay for the conference, and then I was able to get the VIP tier. If you have the opportunity of getting the VIP tier, that was like the best experience ever. I got to meet all these social media influencers and gurus. I know I'm a nerd, but oh my gosh, like, you have no idea. It was like if I saw Beyonce, well, I'm not, I like Beyonce, but I'm not like a big Beyonce. It's like if I saw Bad Bunny or Karol G, but for social media, I was like starstruck. And yeah. But you know what? Something else I noticed, there's not that many Latinos in marketing. So that kind of sucked too. And my goal someday, I know this is a very audacious goal, is that maybe someday Latinos or Latinx people will have a similar conference just for Latinx community, and that would be amazing. I would definitely want to be a part of that. But anyways, going back to the whole conference, if you're able to make it, definitely go, especially if you're at the beginning stages of your career. And even if you're not at the beginning stages of your career, something else that I really liked about that event is that you got to network. You got to meet a bunch of marketers around the United States. Some people even came from other countries. They were in different industries. And I don't know how to explain it. It was so much fun because you got to meet another person that is struggling and doing the exact same thing you're doing. Or if not the exact same thing, something similar or complementary. They got you, and you were all there because, again, you want to grow in different areas, from different social media platforms to podcasting to YouTube channels to blogging and so on. So definitely, if you get a chance, I'd highly suggest that you attend that conference or another conference. So those are the remainder 5 key skill sets that you should know. Again, if you haven't had a chance, go back to the previous episode and listen to the additional 5. Now, some bonus tips that I want to give you so you can have it in your back pocket to help you really land that marketing job is networking. I don't know how many times I have to say this, and I'm probably going to repeat this in every podcast episode, every social media post. Networking is probably the number one way to land that marketing job. I don't know how else to say this because it doesn't matter how experienced you are, how tech savvy you are, creative. If people don't know you, they're not going to think of you. And there's times where companies have job postings or roles that they open up that sometimes they're not public. And if they know of you, they can reach out and let you know. Or if you know someone, they can refer you. There's just so many benefits of networking. So please work on your networking skills because it's very crucial in growing your marketing career. Another thing that's super crucial and important to help you land that job is having a portfolio and showcasing your marketing projects to demonstrate your skills and achievements and stuff like that. Having a resume or cover letter is not enough, especially when you're first starting your marketing career, because most likely you have no experience. And even if your resume looks like good and maybe you hired someone to help you create your resume, if you don't have a portfolio to really showcase what you know or your potential, then it's going to be a lot harder. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's going to be a lot harder to land that marketing job. So my goal, or what I teach a lot of our interns where I work at, or when I mentor new marketers, is to figure out ways to grow your portfolio, to really showcase everything that you've learned, even if that means working with beta clients, or even if that means that you do like mock projects, just to be able to showcase what you know, what you're capable of doing. So please remember to grow and work on your portfolio. And lastly, hire a marketing career coach or take classes or certifications so you know what areas to focus on, to grow in, to be knowledgeable in. If you know someone that's like already 5 or 10 steps ahead of you, wouldn't it just be better to work with that person directly that's been in your shoes and now they're in the job or the type of roles that you are looking for? I know when I first started out in my marketing career, I didn't know anyone like at all. It was so hard. I had to learn things on my own. Unfortunately, at that time, which I'm dating myself, yes, we had YouTube, but no one was really talking about marketing, and specifically not in like how to grow in your marketing career. Most videos were about just like marketing for your business. And so it was really hard for me. And now with the advances in technology, having platforms like this one, which is my podcast, and social media channels to share all my knowledge and tips and hacks, take advantage of it. If you would like to work with me or just need additional mentorship, feel free to reach out to me. Go to the show notes, schedule a free 15-minute coaching call, or message me on Instagram or LinkedIn. Those are the 2 platforms that I am the most active in. So mastering these skills will prepare you and help you thrive in various marketing roles as long as you adapt to the industry's ever-evolving demands. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and give me a 5-star rating and leave a review so more marketers like you can find this show and get the help that they deserve. Well, I'll talk to you next week. Bye.